Forgive me for my emotions. To the Republican lawmakers of North Carolina General Assembly, I'm here to explain how your cuts and lack of expansion to Medicaid has not only affected my family, but others as well. On July 27, 2011, my wife was in a head-on collision. 2 days after her crash, I went to get out of bed and collapsed on the floor, paralyzed on my right side. A few hours later, I was in the hospital. My wife was on the 9th floor in a coma. I was in the 3rd on a coma, while my then 11-year-old twins did not know whether or not either one of us were going to come home. My wife's problem was because of her driving. My illness was because I had MRSA in my blood system and was on death's door. Being a lifelong, hard-working former Republican, we, because of our conditions, maxed out our private insurance in just a few weeks. We were informed that our only option was to spend all of our savings, our retirement, and our 401k, over $300,000. Then we were told at that time we would qualify for Medicaid and then would get the treatment we needed to get back to work. This was still 2011. We both started physical therapy and were starting to feel better about our future. Then in late 2011, after leaving physical therapy, we were again involved in another crash. This time, a new car struck. Our new car was struck on the wife's side, breaking her leg again. Prior to this, she had already been through 6 surgeries. The attending physician at the hospital stated that we were fine and would be sore for a few days. Then 4 days later, we received a call from the doctor saying that he had missed the break and that my wife and that she needed not put any pressure on it and see her primary physician as soon as possible. Being that that we were on Medicaid and it was Christmas, and it was January before we could schedule the surgery on her leg. By the time it was scheduled, my wife had gone into deep depression and was diagnosed with PTSD, so much so that she had to keep her eyes closed whenever we drove her to the doctor. When they did the surgery, they found that 7 of the 9 screws had broken as well. That break was so bad that they had to grind her bone for blood flow to hopefully cause it to bind. We had physical therapy scheduled at home because she was not allowed to travel at this time. And when the therapist arrived, she explained that the new controlling party in North Carolina had cut physical therapy from 30 visits of the year to only 3. And that her being there counted as one of them. Both of our doctors said physical therapy was imperative to our recovery. Specifically, my physician said that if I had good physical therapy, I stood a very good chance of returning to full-time employment. Because of these cuts, this was not going to be. Because of these cuts, I was forced into a life of total disability. I, who have always worked and paid taxes since I was 14 years old, seeing that the controlling party and Medicaid were not going to help, my mother-in-law got us a membership to the Y so that we could, without any try self-therapy, so that my wife could walk, and hopefully I could return to work full-time and not be a burden. During one of the sessions, my wife was doing leg lifts and broke her leg again. This was because we were not receiving the proper physical therapy as requested by our physician. All in all, it took over 6 weeks for my wife to have her surgery. By now, it had been so long, the damage so severe that they had to do a bone graft. And because of this, my wife's leg is a half-inch shorter than the other, causing her to walk with a limp, which caused her to have hip surgery because of the where it had been replaced. All of this came at a great cost to us because by then we were on Medicare. My children, who are both 19, recently aged out of North Carolina Health Choice, and we were told by the representative of DSS to come in and apply for adult Medicaid. At the local DSS office, they took our information and informed us that their coverage would continue until the end of the month. This was January 3rd of this year. We found out later that when we tried to fill my daughter's prescriptions that they had extended my son's coverage, but not my daughter. My daughter takes medication that she needs to prevent seizures from several concussions that she experienced as an athlete. DSS stated that they had no idea why and that there was nothing that they could do under the current Medicaid program. Because there is no adult Medicaid to qualify for assistance, my daughter must be either disabled or pregnant. My question was, so you're advocating teen pregnancy? They said, no, but your state government was. It was then that I was left with no recourse but to ask help from the Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy. I see my family's experience as a failure of the North Carolina representatives. This I see as a failure of my party. I was taught that the Medicaid system was set up to get you in and make you dependent and not let you out. I had a chance to get out, to get better. My doctors told me with physical therapy I had a good chance to get back to work and be a productive tax-paying member of society. I had a chance to support my family. You took that from me. I'm stuck and will never get out. Now my family and I know the truth, that it is the Republicans in power that do not care, that they do not have a heart. You have a chance to change things. You have a chance to prove to the people of North Carolina that you have a caring heart by expanding Medicaid for families like mine and others. You should do so as soon as possible. What has kept me going is a verse my mother taught me as a child. Proverbs 19:17. Giving to the poor is like lending money to the Lord, and He will pay you back.